In this video, we are going to take a look at why Marina Mabrey requested a trade from the Chicago Sky. Was it due to Angel Reese, or Kennedy Carter, or Teresa Weatherspoon? Or is cheap ownership once again responsible for a high-profile player wanting to leave Chicago as fast as they can? And does Warren Buffett hold the key for Marina Mabrey being happy with her new team, the Connecticut Sun? We will take a look at all of this, but before we start, if you enjoy the content, then please consider subscribing to the channel and giving the video a like. Now, there is a lot of speculation out there on why Marina Mabrey requested to be traded, and much like this video, it is all speculation because Marina Mabrey is a pro, and when asked about the trade, she gave a pro answer saying that she felt like playing for the Sun is a better situation, and when asked why she requested the trade, she said, "I like to keep our stuff in-house," Mabrey said. "What happens there stays there, but I saw an opportunity for me to get a chance to play with veterans, people who have won a championship." And that is a smart answer to give. That is a player that wants to stay in the WNBA and does not want to burn their bridges, as you never know where you need your next contract from. But I do think during press conferences during the season and during her exit interview with Annie Constantine, she does drop breadcrumbs on why she wants to get out of Chicago. In the Constantine article, she's quoted as saying, "I came to play for James Wade, the system he had built and the vision he saw for me." She goes on to say, "I don't like to jump ship, so he left, and then I thought, okay, let's see what happens." Now, when Mabrey talks about James Wade's vision, that was not having a whole bunch of rookies. Because as you are aware, he traded away all their draft picks to get Marina Mabrey in the first place, as his plan was to feature Kalia Copper and Mabrey, find hidden gems like he usually did in his previous few years, and then bring in a prize free agent like a Candace Parker, and then make their run. And that is what he sold Copper and Mabrey on. Obviously, Chicago's hand was forced in the offseason when Copper demanded a trade, and the rebuild was on, which was going to be directed by Teresa Weatherspoon and featuring Camila Cardoso and Angel Reese. I think Mabrey went into the season, like she says, with an open mind, but to no end the rookies did frustrate her. I think a good example of this was early in the season when they lost to the Sun by 3 points. Angel Reese got done for a moving pick at the end of the game, and it was big. They were trying to set up for a three-pointer to Mabrey to tie the game, but what I think frustrated Mabrey was just after that, Angel Reese couldn't stop focusing on the call with the moving pick. I think Mabrey says something to Reese here, just saying, "Hey, let's go, let's focus." And then I think it's telling when she goes back to Witherspoon after the play fails. I mean, the game was already over before that, but she has her hand over her mouth, sort of talking to her, and I assume it's like, we got to calm down the rookie. And some might come at me and say that's massive speculation on my part, and that's fair, but I think one that is not open to interpretation was after they lost to the Liberty, and Angel Reese got ejected at the end of the game. I know it got overturned eventually. Not only that, the game before was where Kennedy Carter threw the shoulder at Caitlin Clark, and that whole controversy started. And my gist at looking at that press conference was that Mabrey was clearly frustrated with the lack of composure from Angel Reese and in general the Sky. Take a look.
For both of you guys, just what was your perspective and kind of just from where you were on the court, what did you see on that double tech on Angel?
She got ejected. She got 2 techs. She said something to the ref, and so whatever he felt like was the correct call is what he made. It's more about composure for us in our young years in the WNBA. So, getting to know refs and how they respond to things.
For both of y'all, obviously clutch minutes and just kind of being able to close out games are going to be a challenge with a young team with kind of a new group. Just what do y'all feel is kind of that next hurdle of being able to get through some of these tighter games where you're able to keep it close into the final 5 and just can't quite get over that last hump?
You can't melt down against them. Like at the end of the day, we melted down in the fourth quarter, and anytime you're going to play a team like this, you can't win like that. So, it's composure, like I said before.
At the same time, I just don't want to paint this as grumpy vet, angry at the rookies, as she was supportive. As listen to this press conference in mid-June, this is around the 20th of June, Mabrey talks about Reese very positively, just saying she's doing really well.
Number one, like her confidence coming in, she was really passionate and does all the little things first, so that when the scoring and the rebounding and the assisting come, it's natural because she's always in there. She's in the right positions. She keeps going. She doesn't stop fighting. Even like bounce back games. If some game they get us, Angel comes back right away and does the same exact thing in the next game, tries to build off that, has short-term memory, which usually takes rookies a long time to do. Like, over the years. And as somebody that people thought wasn't going to translate, I understand having to just dig it out of yourself and find it even when other people don't believe. Like, if they don't believe, you got to believe in yourself first, and then that's going to follow. So I love to see that from her. And honestly, she's only going to get better, which is, 18 and 16, and she's just getting started. So proud of you.
Thanks.
And when Kennedy Carter worked her way into the starting lineup, once again, Mabrey's talking about how well Kennedy's doing, how she's developed her game, and she knows what she's strong at, and looking forward to playing with her. They're giving each other high fives. And Mabrey played well at times with Carter in the starting lineup. So the first game that Carter was in the starting lineup was on the 17th of June versus Indiana, and Mabrey went for 22 points. Then the following game against Dallas, Mabrey went for 19 points. Then not so good in the return matchup with Indiana. She went for 6 points, and then 21 points versus Las Vegas in late June. And during that press conference, Mabrey says the vets have to do a better job of helping the rookies on defense. So it's not that grumpy vet just calling out the rookies. She's saying we vets have to help the rookies a little bit.
Try to get better defense. I thought our defense had some lapses in the second half, especially. And I think like us as vets can do a better job of like talking and being in spots earlier. So that we can set an example for our younger players and vice versa, kind of lead them a little better defensively.
And it seems positive at that point. The other thing was that somebody asked her about her slump and that she had a good game versus Vegas, going for 21 points on 8 of 16 shooting. And she's like, Teaspoon has confidence in me. That's the thing. I trust my process. My points will be there. I'm not worried about it at all.
I mean, no, I have a process and I trust it. Like, that's all there is to it. I'm going to miss shots some games. I'm going to make shots some games. But I also feel like Spoon's done a good job of telling me like that every time that I'm scoring points isn't the only type of value that I bring to this team. So if I'm having a tough shooting night, like I can get people involved. I'm a good passer. I can rebound. I can play defense. So kind of just focusing on something else and letting that stuff come to me a little bit more instead of forcing it and feeling like that's my only value.
And then that's where I think things potentially flipped, because she had another bad game against Minnesota. She went for 11 points on 4 for 17 shooting. And then the next game versus Atlanta, that's the one where she only played 19 minutes, where she was benched down the stretch. And if you watch the game, Mabrey doesn't have a bad attitude on the bench or anything like that. Like, she's clapping for Carter when Carter's going off at the end of the game. But I do wonder if it was done at that point with Mabrey thinking, I'm going to be the fall guy for this. And then the next game, it was telling when they got an upset win in Seattle and Kennedy Carter went off yet once again. I thought it was telling at the end of the game. I remember this in real time when I watched this. Like, oh, wow, that looks a bit strange. Mabrey high-fives Reese, and then she goes to high-five Kennedy and celebrate with her, but then Reese and Kennedy Carter are doing this dance, and I just see this look in Mabrey's eyes like, and I wonder if that as well is just, these are rookies, this is a rookie team, and I need the heck out of here between those last two games, which is basically the coach benching me, and then I'm not really fitting in here. And then combine that, just the style of play that Chicago is playing is not suited to Mabrey. It was interesting in the press conference on the 13th of July, Mabrey was asked how they could improve themselves over the Olympic break, and she talked about how all the players need to improve themselves and be the best version of themselves. Another thing that stuck out, she talked about the rookies needing to be willing to take the open outside shots to open up space. In addition, she talks about how she is a big advocate of the three-pointer. You don't have to sell her on that.
Would you say that the team's overall, increasing the team's three-point percentage is crucial to going into the second half of the season?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said to Andy earlier, like I'm a big advocate for threes. So I thought it was great. They came in and hit some threes, Danny hit a three, and then also just people being willing to take them and keep practicing them, and especially like our younger players who maybe aren't used to taking as many jump shots. Like, they have a ton of time to develop in this league, and if you work on your shot and stuff, you're gonna get to make it, and it drives the defense out. So just practicing and having that confidence.
And that is the style of play that she's calling out with Chicago. As underway, they took 22 three-pointers a game, and now under Weatherspoon, they are only taking 14 per game. And just another reason why she requested the trade. She gave it a try, but she doesn't fit in with the team. This wasn't the type of basketball she came to Chicago to play, a Detroit Pistons sort of rock-throwing contest, and we're going to suffocate you with defense. No, she had signed with James Wade, and the plan was having vets like Courtney Williams on the team, Kalia Copper, and we are going to win straight away with experienced vets that know how to play. And in my comments, I've seen a few mentions or not so nice comments about Marina Mabrey, but of the three, Kalia Copper, James Wade, and Marina Mabrey, I think Marina Mabrey's conducted herself the best, as she came to Chicago based on James Wade's vision, and then he left mid-season last year, and then she was willing to give it another chance. Copper wasn't even willing to give them a chance. She was like, I'm out of here. And overall, like I said in the last video, I think it's a win for everybody because Chicago's clearly rebuilding. Draft capital is what they need, and they got that from this trade, and they handled themselves well. Mabrey kept it quiet. They played happy campers. The last press conference, it didn't seem like Mabrey or Weatherspoon had any issues with each other. The question now is, can Marina Mabrey be happy with the Connecticut Sun? I know there was talk that Carrington wasn't happy about the trade, but they'll be professional. Mabrey's a professional. Carrington's a professional. I don't think that's an issue. Bonner's already come out and said, yeah, we're looking forward to a vet like Mabrey coming. And yes, it's easy to argue that Connecticut Sun do have vets, but in much the same way. They play the same style that Chicago does. It's just veterans running that show versus a whole bunch of rookies. And you'd be right, but the one thing that gives me pause to think that this will probably work is Marina Mabrey herself, as she is going to take a Warren Buffett type approach to her WNBA career going forward, as she outlines the whole disappointment with James Wade leaving and not doing what she thought she would be doing in Chicago. That has led her to this new philosophy. And if you don't know, the Warren Buffett theory is the key to a good life is low expectation. And Marina Mabrey says that is a lesson that she learned in Chicago when she says, but in Chicago, I learned not to create expectation anymore because it just leads to a letdown. It's hard. I won't be going into Connecticut with any expectation. And now it's over to you. Do you think I have it right on why Marina Mabrey left Chicago? And do you think with Mabrey now armed with her Warren Buffett philosophy, do you think it will work out in Connecticut? Your comments, your poison, it's all welcome. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a great day.